Well, hello everybody. It's wee Paddy from across the shuck, and yes, the lockdown, the lockdown has ended. We are now free again, and we're at the caravan. And I cannot tell you what joy that brings me to have this view again. How beautiful is that? This is our little caravan park here. I just love the view we have here. I feel very blessed. We came down a couple of days ago. It took us about 2 days to get all our stuff down here because we'll just stay here now for the rest of the summer, right through till about October, and then we just come down at the weekends. But oh, what a joy it is to be back down again. So I've decided to do a nice little talk along video today. It's not going to be on one particular thing, but it's going to be a talk on where I am in my knife world at the minute. What's really floating my boat? What I've sort of moved away from, but I haven't stopped on anything. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Hopefully, after this, I'll be able to describe better what way my knife life is changing, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm just as excited as I've always been. So stay with me. I'll take you back now. Actually, I'll show you. I'm down the caravan. It's taken me a couple of days to get all set up. This is my little reviewing platform now. This is my little workstation where I can do my sharpening and cleaning of knives. I bought myself a lovely little glassed case there to keep all my GECs and my higher end knives in. I have a little drawer down there with my locking knives and a few extra of my slip joints, which is the biggest part of my knife collection now, but I still have my modern knives and I still love them. The knife I'm going to sort of start off the conversation is this, the number 73 Scout from GEC, but I'm going to sort of, as usual for Paddy, I'm just going to talk about anything and everything that comes after that because I've missed you. I haven't made a video for, I don't even know how long now, it must be near a week. So I'm going to put this down, get it set up, and we'll have a little chat. Hello there. Right, we're back again. I'm in front of the table, and if this is a bit of a long video, I'm sorry. I'm sort of looking forward to it. You know what I mean? I've had a couple of days where the pressures of lockdown has all gone off. I'm down my caravan. I've chilled out a bit. I didn't realise how uptight I was until I came down the caravan. I really was fed up with lockdown. So what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about where my loves are at the minute. And look, if you've been following me at all, you know I've really get into my traditionals and all sorts of traditionals. You know, from the high-end GECs down to Rough Riders and I'm now getting more into British knives, and I'm expanding my horizon of traditional knives. And why am I doing that? Because I have fallen in love with the art of knife making, especially handmade knives that are made by human beings to a standard. Some of them are just beyond what you would expect. Some of them maybe not so good, but as a knife, are they any good? Yeah, of course they are. Knives cut, that's all knives do. You're buying a knife to cut something. So it doesn't have to look absolutely 100% right to be an effective knife. It just has to have a decent blade geometry, a decent sharpening, and a knife will cut. It does not have to be beautifully finished like these high-end GECs are. You know, that's the fact of, and it goes with any, whether it's a locking knife, whether it's a fixed blade knife, as long as the geometry is good, it's safe enough to use, but it doesn't have to be perfect to be a good knife for work. But work is a real, well, I hear people saying it's a great working knife, it's a great this. For me, a working knife is just something that I'm, on my daily tasks, I cut, I open a box, I open a bit of polythene, I cut a strap, I cut a bit of rope. That's all I do. I very rarely do even a lot of cardboard cutting. You know, when I get boxes in, yeah, I love cutting the cardboard up just to check what the knife is like. So probably for me, if all honesty is I buy knives because I like the look of them. I like to use some for eating with. I like to use, all for basic things that probably a lot of us, if we're honest, that's what we do. It's just a tool for the day to cut things. So there we go. Now, I picked this knife here because this is something I wouldn't have chosen in the beginning. When I first started getting into uh, traditional knives, my goal in life was to get a number 15 GEC. There's a number 15 GEC. You can see this is much bigger. This is a much sturdier knife. This wasn't on my horizon. Um, it just was, it was too big. I thought, no, I want this in my pocket. I don't need this. That has been changing a lot because I use a slip, right? So I throw the knife in. This one weighs about 2.2 ounces. Obviously, this one's a lot less, but this is not going to weigh down my pocket. 2.2 ounces in a little leather slip in my jean pocket, it's not going to weigh it down. If I have a pair of tracksuits on, I have beautiful little knives like the number 14. And look how much bigger it is in this. But this will do most of my day's work. And if I'm in tracksuits or light pants, I can just throw that into it. That's the joy of having so many different knives. That's why I collect knives. I can come into this box that I showed you earlier on, and I have a full selection there. Whatever I think I'm going to do, I can pick out for the day. Or I can change, down the caravan, I might change 4 times in a day and have 4 different knives because I can. And I get the pleasure out of it. But this is a bigger knife than I thought I was going to collect when I went to traditional knives, because I thought that once I'd gone from fixed blade knives. Let me just give you an example. Here's another one of my favourite carries. It's the small Chris Reeves. Look at that. This blade has actually got more cutting edge than my small Sabenza. It's got a longer handle, but not. In fact, it's just about exactly the same. But the cutting edge you can see is bigger. Does this cut as well as this? Truth be known, this probably cuts better because the geometry is better on the knife. It's a flat grind. It's not as thick a blade. It's a thinner behind the edge knife, and it will cut and slice in my life better than this. Do I still love this? Absolutely love it. It is one of the favourite knives in my collection, full stop. Be it, fixed or locking, I should say, or a traditional. So it's the perfect geometry. Here's another one of my knives that I just love the best. The Benchmade 940. Let's put this up against it. The Benchmade 940 handle is much longer, but the blade cutting edge is not that much bigger. And the 940 is renowned as one of the best everyday carries because it's got a nice long blade with a nice wee bit of belly at the end, same as this. This is a drop point. This is a modified. But it's, what am I doing? I don't even know how to put them down. I haven't used it that long. But so this is a proper big work knife for me. This is a knife. And what changed my mind to go from the smaller traditional knife, which over here in the UK is a blade that's under 3 inches. The cutting edge of this is about 2 3/4. So this is as big a knife as I'm ever going to need in the UK, and I can carry legally. What changed it? Well, it all changed with a cheaper version. This is the I should say the Bullbuster. This is the Bull Nose. The Bullbuster is a bigger one. This is just a GEC work knife, probably one of the cheapest ones they make, and I know they're not cheap, but this is a high-end workman's knife. This is in micarta, the green micarta. This is a real lovely knife in hand. You can see it gets used a lot. This is my batterer. And I'm saying it, it's not cheap. But I mean, you have case sodbusters. You have here's a work knife, typically from Rough Rider, which costs about £23 over here. Again, as big enough blade as this. This is £23. This is going to cost you 100 plus on the secondary market. Do you know what I mean? But they're usually for sale in the States for under £100. So it doesn't matter the price, but I got this one, and the fit and finish and the feel in hand, look, it feels so much better than a Rough Rider. I'm sorry, I've not had a case sodbuster yet. I'm sure they feel just as nice in hand, but their fit and finish is usually not as high standard, and a 1095 blade is usually better than what Case put in theirs, in my opinion, just my opinion. So got me into bigger knives. So it has expanded my collection of traditional knives. And now I'm starting to even broaden it even more. And I had this one made for me by Ashley Harrison of Wright Brother Knives, um, as an English version of the working sodbuster, if you like. This is just a lovely spear drop. I don't know what you want to call it, but it is just a beautiful, big, heavy duty work knife. The blade stock is thicker than it's on the GEC, and it's a more robust knife. So I would use this for more robust. This is more like the sodbuster blade stock than this one. This is like a gentleman's work knife. If I want it to look, if I want to go somewhere, I'm not going to do dirty work, or but I want to bring out a nice knife. This is what I carry. This will do all sorts of cuttings. I tend not to eat with this because I don't want the blade to get tarnished. Whereas of these knives here that I can use for eating with, this or the sodbuster I love for a steak. Listen to the clap on that. Look at the back of that. I mean, this is what you don't get with just an ordinary knife. That hand finished beauty. This is all done by hand. And I just love the fact that you're backing men who do this for a living, for very little money for what they do. I mean, let's be honest with you. For what they're putting out, they don't get paid a huge amount of money compared to the more modern Chris Reeves and things like that. But these men are artisans, and Chris Reeves every bit as talented, but it's in a different field. It's in a different field than what these are, and that's what excites me. That you can nearly feel the hands that have been on this before I got it. And there's probably very few, because one person tends to run right through the whole system. And that's what I love. That's what I love. But sorry, I've got things going in the background there. I should have turned that off. But so what other things have changed? I've now gone to bigger knives, which I didn't think I was going to. I thought I was going to go for the more. I've now gone. Here's something. Gimmick knives, never thought I would go into them. Never thought I would go into a GEC gimmick knife. Here is the Urban Jack. Beautiful spear point blade, lovely etching, which will wear off when you use it, but it has a beard comb, a beard removal, a refuge removal tool. So, and I use it, but it is a gimmicky knife. It's an expensive gimmicky knife, but it's in beautiful green bone, jigged bone. This is Appaloosa jigged bone, which is just beautiful. But so there's another knife that I never thought I would have. And I plan to get more of them because I'm enjoying that one. Here's again something I never thought I'd be interested in on a GEC knife. And this is again, if you've been watching channel, this one I just got recently. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look like a Brighton rock, or I don't know whether you do rocks. Over in the seaside towns here in the UK, we have sticks of rock. It's just candy, as you would call it, hard candy shaped in a rock with the name of the place going round it. Not sure whether you do that in the States, but this is a beautiful single blade. It's just gorgeous looking. And it's like a celluloid or whatever you want to call it. It's a composite handle, which I didn't think I would want in my GECs. And you're paying money. These are not cheap knives, and they're hard to get. And to me, it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Didn't think I would get into that. What else have I got now? Things that, here's another thing that I'm really getting into is different woods. This is a UK maker. This is Taylor's Eyewitness. Just a most beautiful handmade knife. Beautiful bulbous end, shiny blade, much like the GEC. This is the UK's version of the GEC. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. Really gorgeous, really well made. The fit and finish is immaculate. The wood they've chosen is immaculate. So, and listen to that snap. That would take your finger off. Perfect centering. Everything about this knife is just A1 first class. Really, really beautiful. Here's another one which I've just got recently. This is, let me just get this out for you. This is another Taylor's Eyewitness. This is a lamb's foot, and this is in, I was going to say goat bone. It's in, oh, I really just lost it. Uh, what bone is it? Is it goat bone? I've gone. Goat's horn. But look at this. Look, I always seen slick slicers and warthog with these. That's what you call buttery translucence. They've taken all the bark off the horn, and you've just got this beautiful pattern. And you have to genuinely see this in person. I couldn't bring this across to you in a video, how beautiful that is. This is not as sharp a spring on this, but a beautiful knife. So ram's horn, goat's horn. Oh, for goodness sake. Look, you can tell I'm not a knife expert. I just love knives. You see all that technical stuff? I don't even bother with it anymore. I really genuinely don't. I just love looking at knives and getting the different patterns. I'm having a ball. You might not be in my videos, but I'm having a ball. You see, the thought of going back to the old videos where I had, the sizes, the weights. Look, if it's too heavy for you, get into another hobby. This is not supposed to be a sport. It's just a knife. Don't buy anything that's too heavy for you, and don't buy anything that's too light for your use. So there you go. But the ram's horn, I couldn't get that out. Beautiful. So I'm really enjoying finding that stag bone. These are all things that I never, this is what I would have called old man knives, stag bone knives. But look how beautiful that stag is. Absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't have to be GEC. There's cases, my prettiest stag bone. Look at that. Is that not just beautiful? It's gorgeous. And that's a case knife. I've shot in Morgan's. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. But they were what I called old men's knives. And my size, I've literally just got, oh, excuse me, I've literally just got this little peanut. This is a case peanut. What a beautiful little knife to just throw in your jean pocket. Or even your tracksuit bottoms, whatever, jogging pants, whatever you call them, your comfies. This is just beautiful in proper bone. The fit and finish on this is perfect. The blade centering is perfect. So not all case knives are just rubbish. If you're selective when you're buying them and see them in person, you can get beautiful knives. Or this was a gift from somebody who gave me one that's in perfect condition. And I thank him very much for that. So yes, I mean, I have changed dramatically going for bigger knives than I ever thought I would. Here's another. Talking about gimmicky, although this is not a GEC. This is the Fighting Bulls. I can't even remember what the proper name for this is. I am so bad, Stephen. You are so bad. This is the Bulldog brand. Fighting Bulldog brand. This is a one-hand opener. Which was apparently made for the American Civil War when they came back with injuries. They maybe only had the one hand, and they'd catch this on their jeans, or you can catch it on the end of a table and open the knife with just one hand. And it means you have a tool that you can use, and then you can put away again with one hand. Beautiful. I love it. I've got a couple of them now. I'm trying to think what the other one is I've got. Oh, yes. So this is great. This is exactly what I wanted to be able to do. Here's a Rough Rider, one-hand opener. Again, for buttons. Do you know what I mean? It's not an expensive knife. It's in Jean Micarta that is done so well. The fit and finish, the shield on the Rough Rider. This is their new series. Although, I'm going to be really honest, their new series of knives are too dear. This is the cheapest version. And it's a single blade. It's not over heavy. It's a really good work knife. But every other one that I've seen, they're bulky, lumpy knives. I don't particularly like them, and I haven't gone any further than this one. This is the only one I've got in that new series. I'm hoping they're going to come out with more single blades and maybe shorten them a little bit. Like, this is a huge big knife. Do you know what I mean? It's a really big work knife if you want a big work knife. But that one-hand opener, again, is it a novelty? Yeah, it probably is now. There's not many of us who only have one hand working. Um, but just a super example of you don't have to spend money to get a beautifully fit and finished. I think this is about, it was about 38, 39 pound over here. It was the cheapest one of the lot. Some of their new ones are coming in at £80 over here in the UK. I'm not spending that in a Rough Rider, sorry. I'm just not. I'd rather have a case. Just take my luck. But that is a beautiful bargain. If you get that for 40 quid, you've got a real beautiful knife. And it's in D2 as well. So a really good work knife. Not a lot of money. And that's the whole point of it. You buy what you can afford. I started off cheaply in this hobby, and I've been really blessed to be able to afford a wee bit better now. I have sold so many knives over the last 3 months probably, so that I could buy more GECs. There's a lot you haven't seen yet. There's a lot you will see. And look, they're not going to be spec-filled videos. They're just going to be me ranting about how beautiful a knife is and what you can get for your money. I mean, don't forget, when you're buying these, they're 100 plus. Very, very rarely are you going to go over £200, I'm talking about. I know in the States they're getting dearer to buy on eBay. Yeah, look, you just have to take your time when you're getting them, and don't pay more than you're uncomfortable with. I know they're more expensive in the second-hand market, and sometimes it's the only way to get them. But I spent years trying to get them at reasonable prices. And I've actually found a, so, join the groups, join the not just GEC groups, but slip joint groups, and you'll get to meet people. That's what I've done. And that's what I do to get my GEC. I have been so fortunate now to have about 22 GECs. And most of that's in the last year, to be perfectly honest. I had one or two before that. I was unable to get them, and I was unable or didn't want to pay the prices on the second-hand market. So now, I mean, I'm going to British knives. Some of the British knives you can buy cheaply. You can go onto Etsy and get knives from £20 up that are older, older models. I'm trying to get one here that I can show you that I have here. Where have I them? Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's a British knife. I showed you that beautiful one in the wood. This is its sister. Its cheaper little sister in a hardwood, in a non-shiny blade. It's got the same bolster on it, though maybe not as polished. This is about 33, 34 pound. This is a stunning piece of, look, this is just gorgeous. It is beautiful. Fit and finish, absolutely brilliant for what it is. There's a couple of wee high points. They're not gaps. A couple of wee high points. But in the hand, this is just a stunning little work knife. A Barlow. Just an everyday. And does it look bad? No. It's got beautifully grained hardwood. It's, it's not a cheap looking knife, but it's only £33. But it's, it's higher end than any Rough Rider I've had. And Rough Riders can be dearer now because you're not paying the tax. This is a UK made knife. Taylor's Eyewitness, you've got Wright Brothers, you've got all sorts of companies that I'm starting to chase up now throughout the UK and buy and showing what you can get over here. But also you can get in the States. You can buy these Arthur Wrights, you can buy the Taylor's Eyewitness over in the States, or you can get them sent from here over there. And then you have to pay the tax like we do on the GEC. But if you're a knife collector, that's what you want. That is exactly what you want. You want to have that ability to get knives from around the world that are made by artisans, that are made by hand. They're not just factory. Now, there's a place, don't get me wrong, CNC and factory knives, there is a place for them. There's nothing wrong with them. They're beautiful knives. Look, here's a Chinese one in a Damascus blade. It is a beautiful knife in snake wood, brass bolster. Look at that. Beautiful knife. Absolutely stunning. Mostly made in factories or, whatever. So there's a place for all sorts of knives. And there's, this is probably, this will be a bit cheaper than this. This will be cheaper again. And then you have the Rough Rider of all sorts that you can get from 12, 13 pound. And they're every bit as good a knife. I mean, I showed you this one. This is their work knife. Look at this big knife. Let me just move these out of the way. Look at that for a big work knife. Is that not just beautiful? £23 for this. £23. You can get it now with the micarta that's blue and black, but this is the original one in black paper micarta, I think it was, or linen micarta. It's a beautiful solid work knife. Here's one of my new knives that I haven't done the review on yet. Here's the GEC Viper. Look, they're exactly the same size. Exactly the same size. This is a great knife. It's in 420A, or 440A, I should say. This is in 1095. This is in burlap micarta. The fit and finish on this is much better than this. It's tighter, the blade's better. It's just everything about it. But this is an absolute stonker of a knife. If you just want a work knife to beat, this is one that you'd want to keep for part of your collection or use. I'll use this one because it's beautiful. It's in micarta. You're not afraid about dropping a bone handle or anything like that. So micarta is a great cover material that you can use and you'll not do much damage other than darken it. And to me, again, that just adds character as much as the blade. But I mean, look at the difference in price. I mean, this is going to be, look, to try and get the Viper now, you're probably talking £200 on the secondary market. £23. And you've got a knife that looks the same and you can be proud of in your collection, whether you've got this or not. This is a proud carry. So it's all out there, and that's where I'm going. Do I have, yeah, I still have all my favourite knives. Do you know what I mean? Oh, this video, can you tell I haven't done a video in a week? Oh, I can't even flick a knife open, Stephen, just flick it. I've still got my Para 3s, absolutely brilliant. I love them as work knives. But at the moment, I'm not using them very much. Down around the caravan, I have my LC200, the Spyderco. This is the native and LC200. I dyed the scales on these. This is brilliant for taking down the beach, to cut a bit of wood, to do a bit of whittling, whatever. You can't beat that. You know, I don't have that option in traditionals. One day, maybe they will do a traditional LC200. In fact, if you pay to get one made for you, you can have it. But I've got this. I love this. I love the plastic handle. I can take it down to the water. I have no worries. So there is a place in my life for everything. I still have my Spidey Chef, although I've been trying to move it on, trade it in for something else, but it's still a beautiful knife that I use in the kitchen. I don't use it out much, but the LC200 is great in the kitchen. It probably needs a clean because I'm sure it's full of gunk. I still have knives like this, which is a £600 custom. I just absolutely love this. This is still one of the best knives I've ever held in my hand, and a beautiful part of my collection. So yes, they're all still there. I haven't gone completely away from them. I just find that I'm not using them now as much as I did before because I'm enjoying this complete different collection of knives. So there you go, folks. I'm away. Thank you so much for putting up. It's about nearly half an hour. Bless you if you watch all the way through. All the best to you. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye-bye now.